Hey, it's meteorologist Cory Reppenhagen here with a look at your forecast, where there is some relief in sight coming down the road, where we'll gradually shave a few degrees here and there every day off of this heat, but we're still calling upper or lower 90s a break. So today the heat is coming together just as forecast. It's 97 degrees in Denver, 96 degrees here at 2 o'clock at the 9 News studio. So the heat advisory is certainly warranted. If you take a look outside at the 2 o'clock hour, there's some clouds starting to try to develop in the area, which will eventually give us some relief with some shade and some gusty winds later on this afternoon. But right now, as you can see, a look at those skies, the sun's radiation is going to be able to take full effect when the skies are like that. So we're 96 degrees at Denver International Airport right now. The high temperature so far has spiked to 97 a couple of times. You see the dew point and the humidity indicating that the air is very dry, which means there's no water, no moisture in the air to try to help regulate these temperatures, so they can quickly escalate when the air is that dry. So with the heat advisory, it goes all the way until 9 o'clock. We're expecting those temperatures maybe getting a few more degrees here, 96 to 99 degrees in the Denver metro area as that heat advisory is in place. It's very unusual heat for this time of year. Usually June is not this hot in the Denver area, and that is the reason for the heat advisory. If we had a 96 to 99 degree forecast in August, you would not see a heat advisory for Denver because the heat is expected in that time. So climatology plays a huge role in whether or not they decide to issue a heat advisory or not. And this is the 5th heat advisory already of the year, the most that's ever been issued this early in the summer. And you see that El Paso County is also included in this, and the Arkansas Valley, all the way from Canyon City down to the state line in Holly, expecting those temperatures still to rise even further, getting potentially up above 100 degrees, maybe 107 in the La Junta and Lamar area. So here's the Denver timeline going forward through the rest of the afternoon and evening. And not only are we talking about high temperatures, but we're talking about an extended period of time in the 90s. So it could stay 90 degrees all the way potentially until about 8 o'clock tonight. So that's why that heat advisory is not scheduled to expire until 9 o'clock tonight. And you see a few clouds in the icons there, so we could get a little bit of relief from some clouds later on this afternoon. But look at these high temperatures all across the region, especially on the Front Range. These are very unusual temperatures for the month of June. Last year we hadn't even had our first 90-degree day of the year yet. Last June, if you remember, was one of the coolest and cloudiest Junes we've had. So complete opposite 1 year later, and this is our 7th 95-degree plus day in Denver, which is super unusual. In fact, it's only happened 5 other times in 150 years. Of course, 2012 really set the bar of what a hot June can really be. We had 13 95 plus days. I think we had, I believe it was 5 or 6 100-degree days that in June of 2012. So that really set the bar. 2018 was certainly hot. But here we have our 7th of the year. That ties 1994 for 5th most with 7. And we could squeeze out one more tomorrow, possibly getting up to the 8th. I think the forecast we're going with is 94 for now, but certainly 95 is possible. And I think that'll probably be it for the month of June as we start to taper things down to the low 90s for the rest of the month. So tomorrow might potentially be our last 95 plus degree heat here in Denver. So mention those clouds. They're starting to develop. You see the small puffy clouds out there. That's just the beginning of it, and we'll start to see the clouds increase in coverage. That could give you a little bit of a break from the heat, just with some shade taking a couple of degrees off of the temperatures. And also, you see a few little green drops out there. That is the indication of some isolated rain showers. And these are going to be very high-based showers. So that means the bottom of the storm where the rain comes out is going to be very high in the atmosphere. So that has a long way to fall before it reaches the ground. And in that span of space, it's going to mostly evaporate and turn into gusty winds, which could be a cool breeze for a few of you that are caught in the right spot underneath some of these showers. Wouldn't expect too much in the way of rain accumulation. The chances of that are pretty low, but a gusty wind and a little bit of shade could be real nice on a day like this. But it is taking a while to get those clouds going, so it might not be a couple more hours before we get some of that relief. And then, of course, overnight, the clouds clear out once again, and we're mostly sunny in the morning, which will set the stage for another hot day, potentially another 95-degree day here in the Denver metro area. And we'll also bring back the severe weather potential along with that heat. With tomorrow's storms, we have a level 1 out of 5, a marginal risk for severe weather, which means the lower end of the scale is expected, but that's still, we're talking about hail larger than 1 inch in diameter and 60-mile-per-hour plus winds. And you do see that the front range, the entire front range, is included in this threat. So we'll have to watch for the potential for some large hail and some damaging winds right along the front range, and they'll carry out onto the eastern plains tomorrow and become even more severe. So here's the forecast, the Futurecast showing the situation for tomorrow. As this moisture just kind of streams out of the desert southwest here, starting with some isolated and then moving to scattered showers in the mountains during the early afternoon hours. And this is kind of it's a monsoonal type of a flow, but it's not really a pattern. So we can't say a monsoon pattern is developing, but at least for a few days, we'll get this monsoonal type moisture coming from the southwest, and that'll leave us here on the front range. You see in the early afternoon, about 3:30, we start to see some of those stronger storms start to develop, and that's where we'll watch for the potential for that severe damaging hail, damaging wind gusts potential on the front range there, starting in the afternoon hours, a couple hours afternoon most likely as we move through this computer forecast model. And as the storms push out onto the eastern plains, they'll have the opportunity to grow stronger, and their coverage might be widespread enough that we may even see a severe thunderstorm watch tomorrow, including maybe a couple of the counties on the state line near Kansas and Nebraska, as you see these thunderstorms carry on all the way until about 10, 11 o'clock tomorrow. And it may be more than one wave of showers in the Denver metro area tomorrow. So it'll be a little bit different of a scenario following our hot temperature. We'll reach that high temperature of about 94, maybe 95 tomorrow in Denver, about 2:30, and then the clouds will cloud up again, but this time possibly be severe. So here's the forecast high temperatures for the rest of the state. You see just a few degrees off of the what we've seen the last couple of days, but still some pretty high heat there, still 100 degrees in La Junta, and that will probably be the area along the Highway 50 corridor down there in the Arkansas Valley where I'd watch for the greatest potential for severe weather as we go into tomorrow. So here's the 7-day forecast for you to help plan, and you see a whole bunch of lightning bolts and raindrops in that forecast, and these are mainly just afternoon showers. So we're talking about the potential for severe weather tomorrow. That could be the same case for Thursday, as the coverage is in the scattered percentage. So we're talking about 30 to 40% chance of getting accumulating rain. So that's 1/10 of an inch or greater. That's what those percentages that you see there, that's your chance of getting measurable rain on that given day. So those afternoon showers will be in the scattered range for you as we go in through the next few days. And we may even get a cold front on Friday it's significant enough to lower our temperatures down below 90 degrees, which would certainly be a welcome thing as long as those thunderstorms don't interfere with any of your weekend plans. We'll have to keep an eye on that as we go forward.
So that's your forecast for now. Stay safe out in the heat. It's a day to limit your exposure, the amount of time that you spend outdoors. And if you do have to be outdoors for any extended period of time, please stay hydrated as we go through the rest of the afternoon. There's your forecast, and thanks for joining us. Have a good one.